So what seemed to be just a couple of days of waiting for test results, it was literally in a blink of an eye. Dr. Barella was back with all the results: MRI, CT scan, PET scan, blood work, biopsies, you name it. He had every test done. And I remember him telling me, "You remember when I told you we're going to treat this cancer either as a child or an adult?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, based on your test scans and everything, we're going to treat it as an adult." Why were they going to treat it as an adult? Because my acute lymphoblastic leukemia comes with what they call a Philadelphia chromosome. And either you test positive or negative for that chromosome. And unfortunately, I tested positive for that as well. So it was kind of a little bit more aggressive treatment that they had to do. I remember they told me it was a 4 rounds of chemo in total, and that was in the next periods of 6 months. And I remember the names of the chemo, like the first two that were the most that felt like affected me. One was methotrexate, and the other one was cytarabine. Another couple smaller dosage of chemo involved in there, but I cannot remember the names. I knew there was one that they even called it the Red Devil because it was like pure red, and that one was bad. But let's get back to round one. We started off with methotrexate. Methotrexate was a chemo that, in order to get released from the hospital, you had to flush that chemo out once it was infused. And I remember that day that they first started doing the infusion, I could either stay in bed or they allowed us to go do laps around the hallway in that unit. And I remember I asked the nurse, "Can I go for a walk while this is going on?" And she said, "Of course. You could do as many laps as you can. Just be careful and don't overdo it." My parents were there with me, and I said, "Hey, let's go for a lap." And I started walking with my chemo bag. I felt so cool at that moment. Oh, I'm walking and doing chemo at the same time. What's up? Let's go. But just with that same energy, I started seeing it decrease as the day went by.